Speaking of movies about obsessions, I saw The Iron Claw. They actually make it less sad than the actual story.
They take out a brother, which is kind of weird. I feel like they should have.
Well, here's the thing. So in the movie, there's four brothers. Three of them commit suicide.
No, I know. Yeah, yeah.
But in real life, four of them commit suicide. That's not believable. Like, I understand this is what happened, but it's so much.
But it's like a whole guy that they erase. I don't know.
There's also just a lot of characters, and they really want to study each of these characters. And I think if you add another person in, it's just too many people.
It's like a strategic choice.
You can't help but be reminded, of course, of Darren Aronofsky is the wrestler. And there's definitely bits of that in this. This idea of fame and what it means to be famous and just how brutal of a sport wrestling is, which I don't think it gets the respect it deserves. I know we kind of give it this sort of, for some reason, second class sport because it's not quote unquote real. And there's actually this really great line when the girlfriend, soon to be wife of Zac Efron, the only guy that lives, she asks him early on, isn't wrestling just fake? I don't understand. Like, what's the point of becoming the world champion? And Zac Efron explains in this really intriguing way. Imagine each belt you get is a promotion at your job. It is proof that you are doing your job well. So the more belts you get, the better you are at your job. And if you get the world champion, that proves that you are the best at this job. And it is just such a brutal sport. And a lot of this film, way more than I think any film I've seen, is actual wrestling. They are throwing Zac Efron across the room onto the floor. And it is so well choreographed. And it just looks so painful. I mean, it looks like it hurts so bad because it does. Those men and women are putting their lives in danger, not only through steroids and addiction and these sorts of things, but also just the amount of shit that they put their body through. And even if it's a bit practice, it's still fucking raw and it is so brutal to watch this. And the dynamic between the brothers and, of course, the father and the son.
Yeah, wrestling contains a lot of stories like this about really tragic things happening. The Chris Benoit story, I mean, that is one of the craziest, saddest stories of all time. That was probably a result of his injuries from his job.
There's something really intriguing about the type of storytelling that they do and the way they tell these stories. And I think this film does a fantastic job of capturing that pain, which I think has a lot to do with Zac Efron's performance and his ability to just show the just constant misery that you're in. And also just this obsession and where these obsessions come from, because so much of this film is about the father sort of pushing this thing on his sons because his father was a wrestler. And the most baffling thing about this film, we get the closing credits. Everyone is dead except Zac Efron. And so then you get that thing that happens at the end of the movies where they say, here's what happened to these people. And so there's this kind of feel good line where he's like, him and his kids and grandkids all live on this ranch together, which is great. And then the very next line is the Von Erichsen's family was the greatest wrestling family of all time.